Sorry, I had to include Churchill's quote somewhere. It worked for me trying to figure out the complex puzzle of India. Churchill's quote was eloquent, especially next to mine. Beats the hell out of me.
The Indian subcontinent has a massive land area with multiple climates, a long history, and many evolving civilizations. Like China, food specialties of India were associated with specific areas and cultures. Unlike China, there were multiple invasions from different peoples and cultures. Ultimately, tensions resulted in the independent countries of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, not on friendly terms. There are multiple northern river systems, mainly coming from the Himalayas, including the Indus and the Ganges. Farming started mainly in the fertile plains by the rivers. Further south, monsoon rains provided the moisture for farming and a warmer climate. On the coasts were unique opportunities with port cities and trading.
The first settlements began around 9,000 years ago. The Indus Valley Civilization, mainly in Pakistan and northwestern India, included Mohenjo-Daro, which expanded from about 7,000 to 4,000 years ago. During the latter period, the Indus culture had baked brick houses, complex water supply and drainage systems, multiple handcrafts, and metallurgy. Mohenjo-Daro and other sites allowed archaeologists to examine thousands of years of continuous development. Nomadic cattle herders called Aryans migrated from Central Asia around 1500 BCE, resulting in Indo-Aryan Vedic India. Their religious system would later be called Hinduism, later joined by Buddhism and Jainism. Hindus created the caste system with elite Brahmins and the untouchable underclass. Islam and Zoroastrianism came later. Persian ruler Cyrus the Great invaded India, creating the Achaemenid Empire, then Alexander the Great, followed by the Mauryan Empire, Kushan, Gupta, then on into the medieval period of Europe with Islamic and much later European conquest. Either with or despite the invasions and conquests, India generally remained culturally and politically fragmented. That's included food.
India started farming fairly early and produced most of the available Eurasian foods. To what extent farming was indigenous was debated by experts. Rice could have been indigenous or imported from China. Other cereal crops, including wheat, barley, and millet, likely came from the Fertile Crescent. There was a consensus that other crops like cucumbers, cotton, and flax were domesticated in India. Similar debates involved technology like irrigation, plowing, and hill terracing. India was at the center of Asian trade routes. The country had many exportable commodities and finished goods and developed extensive trade networks. India exported spices, medicinal plants, jewels, and ebony, also fruits like melons, plums, and peaches. Later, India exported cotton and textiles. The Silk Road from China would be enhanced by the spice trade, mainly by sea. Later trade brought eggplants, olives, lemons, and garlic. Food was diverse in India because of regional and climate differences. Spices were cultivated, especially in the south. These were in demand throughout India and spread to the rest of the Old World. Spices and herbs included pepper, cinnamon, oregano, basil, mint, thyme, and ginger. Sugarcane was first produced in granular form in India before the Common Era. Rice was a staple, a major crop in the south. Indians grew other cereals mainly in the north. Domestic animals included cattle, pigs, sheep, goats, chickens, and water buffalo. Food was influenced by Hindu and Muslim traditions and multiple invaders. Hindus held cattle sacred and did not eat beef. Hindus did use milk and butter, especially for religious rituals. Muslims banned pork and alcohol. Jains were strict vegetarians. Buddhists and Hindus were often vegetarians, with customs differing by region. Our last stop in the ancient world is Africa, still the dark continent for most of us. It runs from the Mediterranean south across the equator to the southern temperate zone. It is the second largest continent to Asia in landmass, but the least wealthy. It is extremely biodiverse, from the Sahara Desert through the tropics, almost to subarctic. The history is long, complicated, and unappreciated. We'll attempt to increase appreciation next time on Food, History, and Mystery.